Hello, it's Donna. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is day 3 of the 31 days craft challenge put on by Scrimpingmommy over in the UK. Just want a quick little side note to tell you that these videos for the 31 days craft challenge aren't really meant to be a tutorial. They're more of a progress video. Follow along the way you like. I'm not listing any of the supplies I use because it's really a general crafting thing, and most people would have supplies that are similar or something that they can use in their stash. Okay, so today's card was actually cased from Amanda's Day 2 challenge. I thought it was a fabulous looking card, and I wanted to play with the stamp set that I received during our on stage in November, and I hadn't had a chance yet, so I thought this was a great opportunity to try it out. I am doing basically the same thing in some regards. I am going to stamp the main images onto some Whisper White cardstock using Memento Tuxedo Black. Now, I usually try to do several, or I try to do several embellishments or several cards at once because I figure I have the supplies out anyways. Might as well do more than one card. So what I'm doing is I'm going to fill this whole sheet with images. I am not going to fussy cut them out. My hands are arthritic and it's just too hard on them. So I'm going to run this through my scan and cut, and it's going to cut them out for me. Cutting these images out by hand is really not a big deal, especially if you're only just going to do one or two cards. It's fairly simple. So those are the images I have cut out from my scan and cut. And I'm going to color one of each basically with my Stampin' Blends. I'm using So Saffron in the light, Smoky Slate in light, as well as I believe it's Rich Razzleberry and Flirty Flamingo in both the light and the dark. Okay, I'm just going to speed it up while I do the coloring. It's just very basic coloring. Okay, so I decided to do one lipstick, a perfume bottle, one of the shoes, and a couple of the flowers, just because I had extra room on the sheet of paper, so I cut out some flowers while I was at it. I'm not sure what I'm going to, at this point, I'm not sure what I'm going to use on the final card. I know I didn't end up using the shoe, but I did end up using a couple of the flowers. For the card base, I decided to use a piece of Rich Razzleberry, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25 for a side folding card. For the front of the card, I am using some Very Vanilla. I made the front of the card 1/8 inch smaller than the card base. And now I'm just trying to decide what, I don't have the same DSP that Amanda has from the new suite, but I did have some DSP left over from last year that would work fine. Now I'm just trying to decide what embossing folder I wanted for the front. The Swirls and Curls is one of my all-time favorites, but I've used it in so many videos I decided maybe I'll go with the buttons embossing folder. So I'm just going to run that through my die cut machine, and there we go. Now I'm trying to determine how big I want the little background piece that's going to go behind my colored pieces. So I'm just trying to place that out there, and then I'm going to take that sheet over and cut it out on my paper trimmer. Okay, now I'm going to try to determine the placement of my pieces. I really wanted that shoe to be part of it, but there was just no way I could get it to fit in, so I compromised and decided I'll just use a couple of the flowers instead. For the sentiment, I decided to use the Hello Fabulous from the Dress to Impress set. I was thinking about a Mother's Day card. Thought this would be awesome for Mother's Day card, but the Hello Fabulous I knew would just fit perfectly in a round circle at the top of the card. For the inside of the card, I used the sentiment, Be as bold as your lipstick. Now I'm going to stamp the Hello Fabulous in Rich Razzleberry onto a piece of scrap, and I'm going to cut that out using a circle die. Okay, so I've determined that I do need something behind the sentiment to help that little circle piece stand apart from the rest of the card. So I'm going to use a little piece of scrap Rich Razzleberry and use a scallop die that fits just outside of the circle from the same die set. For the inside of the card, I'm using a piece of Whisper White, 5.25 by 4. I'm going to stamp the sentiment pretty much in the center using Memento Tuxedo Black. I'm just going to position that over the card using my mat as a guide, And then I'm going to stamp one of the lipsticks in the corner using Rich Razzleberry. Now we're going to attach the inside of the card using some multi-purpose liquid glue. I like the liquid glue because it gives me a few extra seconds just to move around the piece so I can get the perfect placement. After doing that, I'm just going to take a score tool and burnish the seam a bit. Now we're going to take the embossed piece and attach it as well to the front of the card. Now I'm starting to adhere all the pieces together. I'm using multi-purpose glue just to put the little white sentiment piece on top of the background piece, the scallop circle piece. At this point, my camera had turned off on me, and it missed recording attaching the little banner background piece, as well as putting the dimensionals and the tear and tape behind the flowers. Now I decided that I needed to do a sparkle onto the card and put some bling onto it. So I'm using my Wink of Stella to color all the pieces with it and giving it several coats to make it nice and shiny and sparkly. Now I felt like the perfume bottle still needed some extra bling, and I'm taking some silver rhinestones and just attaching it to the rim of the perfume bottle. I'm just using 3 right across the top, and then I'm going to use the lipstick, or I'm going to use the same rhinestones and attach 3 down the barrel of the lipstick. Now I'm simply removing the release paper from the back of the dimensionals and attaching the perfume bottle as well as lipstick to the piece. Going to do the same thing with the sentiment, and then attach the flowers underneath the sentiment by releasing the release paper on the tear and tape. The card looked fine without the flowers. I was just determined that I was going to use them. And then I'm going to take 3 of the basic pearls I have previously colored in with my Rich Razzleberry blend, so it would match the rest of the card, which was one of my favorite things to do. I'm just going to put them around the sentiment. Okay, and there we go. That's the finished card. I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. Any support you can give me by purchasing through my online store at www.dragonfliescreations.stampingup.net is greatly appreciated. Any orders over $50 that uses the host code as shown on the screen during the month of January will receive a free gift from me. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you again for day 4.